Thanks, Frank.
I got a letter from Greg Glassman many years ago.
So we won't be seeing you on the vlog for 3 weeks, eh?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
To the old Bali, paradise.
The old Bali.
The old Bali, yeah. Bali and Bali.
Not the new Bali.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. See what happens when the boss is away.
So first holiday in how many years?
In a while. Let's just say a while. Yeah.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you, kind sir. Shake it out. Nice, give it chin up. Yes.
Nice.
I got a letter from Greg Glassman many years ago, and he asked me would I come to America and speak about Waterlogged, the over-drinking story promoted by Gatorade.
I think Prof's article's on that level 3 stuff.
So I said, so why would I want to do that? You know, why would CrossFit be interested? So he explained that as I'd exposed Gatorade and their influence on the scientists, he'd been involved in a case in which the scientists had falsified the data to argue that CrossFit increased your risk of injury.
Yes, I remember that.
And they went to court, and he was the first person ever to take the scientists, the authors, and all the people involved in the trial. He took them to court. So that, in other words, if you were listed as a participant in this trial, you had to go to court. And then they would investigate, say, okay, so what happened to you? Were you injured or not? And it turned out that they'd falsified the information. And so he won the case, and I think he won about $6 million. And that was even before there were damages, because the damages was CrossFit lost contacts with the US military. They had a contract, I should say.
Yes.
They lost the contract. So anyway, so I said, no, sure, I can't really come, but then he invited me to the conference in Madison, Wisconsin with the CrossFit Games. So I went out there and gave a talk on mental preparation and so on. And that evening, Karen Thompson said to me, it's okay, Prof, you must come to CrossFit tomorrow morning in Madison, one of the boxes there. So I went there with Eric Westman. Now, Eric Westman was the guy who wrote the book that saved my life. He wrote the book, what's it called? Atkins, the new Atkins for the New You. And so he went there and I went there and we did a gym session, and I couldn't walk for a week. So then I realized, okay, something must give here. And I can't say I enjoyed it. It wasn't enjoyable.
That's not the word we use.
No. And I was doing sort of push-ups against the wall because I couldn't do the push-ups on the ground. So then I came back and I asked Karen to advise me who I should speak to, and so she got Nikki, and Nikki then said I should come with Tyron, so I came with Tyron. Okay. And he's got a picture of us on the very first day. And unfortunately, I'm wearing a T-shirt, so it hides.
It'd be cool to see that.
Yeah, it hides all the factors there. But so I'd been on the low carb diet, so I was lean then, but I was completely amuscular. I didn't have any muscles in the upper body. And so that's how it started. Okay. And it's been uphill ever since. It's been great. Yeah. Wow. So it's interesting how these things happen. So if we go back to 2010, Eric had just sent off the copy of Waterlogged to the publishers that very night. And I woke up in the middle of the night and my brain said to me, you've got to start running again. You haven't been running enough, you see. So I went out and had the worst run of my life the next morning. But when I came back, I opened up my emails and there was an advert saying, lose 6 pounds in 6 weeks. And that was the book with Atkins, the new Atkins for the New You by Eric Westman. And I knew Eric was a really good scientist, and the other two, Steve Finney and Jeff Volek, were brilliant. And I said, but they've sold out. This is terrible. They're promoting a high-fat diet, saturated fat. And I was so angry, I got straight in the car and drove to the bookshop. And I bought the book.
Buy the book.
And it was the last copy. And after 2 hours, I said, that's it. No more carbs. I said, because what I couldn't understand was I'm meant to know about nutrition. And I'd never seen, they quoted 150 papers. published in good journals. And I said, but I've never read any of these. Why is that? And so then I picked up a few, looked at them, and said, well, okay, he's clearly got the evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, Prof.
Yeah. So if that hadn't happened, I would be dead today.
But why did you never read those journals?
That's because they're completely hidden. They're absolutely hidden.
They're trying to
Yeah.
keep
So
it out.
Jeff Olick, who wrote the one, and who we now collaborate with, and who's probably the guy who's pushed the low carb diet the most, the science of the low carb. He said to me, he applied every year for funding from the NIH, National Institute of Health. Never got a cent. They never even reviewed it. They just chucked it out. Because as soon as you said low carbs, it was gone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the funding.
Yeah. And so now what's interesting is, of course, our textbook's coming out this month. But there was a paper published a week ago in which they compared the DASH diet to the low carb diet. Now the DASH diet is an anti-hypertensive diet, which is kind of a Mediterranean diet with carbs in it, and it's salt restricted or something. It's used for the treatment of high blood pressure. So the first time they did a comparison of the DASH versus the low carb, and the low carb nailed it. It won on all counts, it won. Now if you go and look at Time magazine, you'll see the DASH diet is rated number 1, and the low carb diet is rated the lowest diet, the worst diet. So we reversed that. You know, so the evidence is now, it's incontestable that the low carb diet is the best diet. So Sean Baker is one of the guys, I don't know if you know him, he's not a CrossFit athlete, but he's enormous. I mean, he's like, and he's just,
Carnivore dude, hey?
yeah, he's the carnivore
6'7",
Yeah.
like over
I
200
quite enjoy
pounds.
it. His videos are kind of, there's sarcasm in it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't.
So he has organized, well, he's hoping to organize funding from Jordan Peterson.
Super.
Because Jordan Peterson, obviously his daughter's life was saved going on the carnivore diet, and Jordan Peterson is quite a wealthy man. And it looks like he may
He's
well
got a lot of
fund,
influence.
he may well fund a carnivore diet study. There's a sort of suggestion that he will, because he's the only person who's got the independence and the money to do it.
A
What's
chance.
going on here?
So I had no time, literally. The makeup artist was downstairs, he was running late, and I had to shave my face. And then I was like, you know what, bugger this.
That just looks ridiculous, man. You could have at least gone to below the pet.
No, I'm gonna take it all off, man.
No, but you could have at least gone. That just
Yeah,
looks
but my
stupid.
thing was just only going here.
Go